In this episode of Negative Modifier, we'll be playing the game Delta Green. Delta Green, by design, tackles various mature themes that may be uncomfortable or triggering for listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Hey, it's Charlie, Negative Modifier's Game Master. First off, thank you for giving us a listen. As always, expect something horrible to happen to the players. If you're a fan, support us by leaving a review on iTunes. And if you hate the show, consider doing it anyway and enjoying the fact that you've inflicted us on someone else. For the most up-to-date news in the podcast, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And with that... So how are we doing this? You gotta call Bolton right now, I guess, before you enact the plan, or...
We're gonna do it, like, I don't know, like 30 or seconds after we've set off the poison? Yeah.
Alright, cool. So let's play this one out correctly. So kind of around I'm assuming you're all in the woods watching this from kind of Francis's vantage point, is that correct?
I would be.
Actually, I want to make sure that we cover all the exits and entrances, so I want to make sure we're split up a little bit.
Sure, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
If anything, is there cover and I can have a rifle with me? Kind of thing?
Yeah, you all can be equipped for that if you wish.
Yeah, I definitely want to have gear for that kind of situation as well. So
we're kind of field of firing it around the building in case anybody decides to escape.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so kind of around, like, we'll say 5 o'clock, people start arriving. It's a slow trickle in, but eventually 12 members do arrive. You do kind of at one point see Rebecca Strickland outside, shaking hands, being very kind of happy about it. She's changed into a much more formal kind of evening gown type of look. Everyone is showing up very well-dressed, lots of tuxedos, lots of very nice suits. Kind of using your phones, you're checking off the list of, everyone shows up for this. Check off Samuel Bolton, you check off Jacob Watts, you see Oscar Nelson come back for this. Jackson West shows up, Uriah and Laura Norris show up, Tasha Yang shows up, Hester Wilkins shows up. Yeah, it's everyone is in theory here. They're all in good spirits, happy talk. Via the bugs, you're hearing them talk about a variety of things. The meal this year, they never explicitly say what the meal is, but there's lots of kind of like hint, nudge jokes made about it. Like someone probably says something like, "Well, I requested Cambodian this year, and I'm hoping I got that," kind of thing. You do hear Laura and Uriah talking about their strange vegan request, and they're asking about what type of vegan they got.
God damn it. I fucking knew it. Because there's 12 bodies. There's 12 bodies in the pile. So
yeah.
Would it be possible at first to kind of like figure out when they're like, a minute or two away from like starting the ritual?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's probably about, we'll call 2 hours of cocktail and just kind of talking about, and it's a social thing. These are people that seem to know each other, and you assume go back quite a ways in their kind of weird social situation they have, and sun's starting to set some, and you kind of hear someone flinging a fork or a knife on a glass of some kind, and the announcement of the feast is about to begin. Please make your way upstairs and find.
All right.
Who's announcing that?
Rebecca.
Gotcha.
All right, we should start the poison now, yeah?
I would say wait until they get settled. We also do not know who the 13th person was.
Well, I want to... idea. I was planning on, trying to call Samuel, right before the ritual starts to lure him outside. That seems probably more likely than during. If everyone's heading upstairs, it's going to take about a minute for it to reach them anyways, right?
Yeah, people are taking some time. They're not running up the stairs together. People are refreshing their drinks. You hear kind of mutterings about it. It's I guess it's time. Worked up an appetite with all this talking, et cetera, et cetera. And again, this is a fancy dinner party. People aren't rushing to get there. The food will be there for them. This is not their first time.
What's the security and wait staff looking like?
No wait staff, weirdly enough. They have replenished the 3 security guards, though. They are inside though with the rest of the.
Gotcha.
So do we want to try it that way, or do we want to try during the ritual?
Well, we should just do it as soon as possible.
Yeah. So let's start the poison, and about 30 seconds later, Florence will call Samuel Bolton.
All right. You're starting the poison before they've got their seats.
Let's give it after we hear that they're we can see what's going on inside. Yeah,
you can hear you. You can see through binoculars. They're making their way upstairs, kind of thing. There is on the second floor. There does appear to be kind of a lavish feasting table set up.
Yeah, no, we should wait. We should wait until they're all upstairs.
Yeah,
because once the gas gets up to them, it'll be harder for them to escape.
Yeah,
because they'll just be they'll run downstairs into another just gas filled area.
I was thinking call Bolton when the last person gets upstairs.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, so a couple minutes pass, and they kind of all filter their way upstairs, and people are starting to take their seats. Rebecca's kind of walking around, talking about stuff. You kind of hear through the various bugs. She's explaining the whole meal and the inspirations for it. Hopefully everyone enjoys it, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, very kind of dining club, if you will, rhetoric and all that stuff, like talking about the spices and the sourcing and all that stuff. Again, being very careful, never explicitly say they're eating people, but plenty of jokes about that, where it's like, oh, so-and-so was a handful, et cetera, et cetera. We just stock several gyms in an effort to find your hormone-free person, et cetera, hormone-free meat. Knowing what you know what they're talking about. But again, if someone just were to kind of stumble into this by accident, they'd be like, okay, weird dinner talk. Okay.
So yeah, Florence will call Samuel Bolton.
Give me a luck at -20.
-20. 28
Ooh.
success.
Hey!
You see Bolton kind of through the binoculars react, look at the phone, kind of look around, look at the phone again, look at Rebecca, look at his phone, raise a hand to pause, and kind of Rebecca nods at him, and he kind of walks out of the room. I'm in the main. You see him kind of walk downstairs in the main entrance area. Hello? How did you get this number?
You should get outside very quickly. You don't have a lot of time, Samuel.
I'm sorry.
You've lived long enough. If I'm helping you now, this is the only chance you're going to get. Go outside, don't...
Who is this? I'm assuming you started the poison by now?
Yep. Florence just starts counting down.
All right. Kind of looking around, confused. Samuel goes back upstairs.
Worth a shot.
And you see him kind of like angrily talking to the people in the room with him. This seems very disrupted.
Is he just like, some jerk called me, blah, blah, blah?
No, he seems a little more panicked. Give me a human int, actually, because you're looking up through the binoculars, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Do we all do it, or just...
Just Francis, because he's been the one doing all the observing.
No way.
Wow!
Failed.
Yeah, so he's agitated. You can't tell what he's doing, but like his body language is not great, and people are kind of taking note of this and reacting accordingly to kind of like the weirdness of this.
I mean, it's too late, right?
I'd say so, yeah. So, yeah, the gas has been triggered at this point. You can kind of see it, like looking at it through the binoculars, you do kind of see the occasional waft. It just looks real toxic, and as Samuel up there is kind of yelling at all these people and kind of like gesturing to leave the door, he takes off running, and the first one falls to the ground and starts. And that's when the panic sets in. Everyone's kind of crowding toward the door and trying to get out, and Rebecca is just standing there looking through the binoculars. She's not moving, though. She's kind of yelling at everyone, and you can't hear what she's saying exactly. There's lots of screaming on top of it. You get the occasional word of, like, sit down, you idiots, and, like, you've ruined everything, et cetera, and ultimately, kind of Samuel Bolton comes stumbling out of the building, kind of choking. Two of the security guards get out there. They're not so lucky. They kind of fall to the ground. Samuel Bolton's on his hands and knees, just kind of gasping for breath on the ground. He's the one that makes it out. Everyone else seems to get caught in the doorways or kind of runs directly with some gas cloud on the floor, and just you're seeing people drop in horrible, kind of just twisted expressions on their poison air.
Is Rebecca just standing in the middle of the poison cloud?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the radio. It's like, if you guys can see her, we have to fire.
Yeah,
We have
Florence
to
was
shoot
going to
her.
say, take Rebecca out.
Do I have vantage from where I'm at?
I'll say Francis and Faustus do. You're probably off more towards like the entrance or something. You don't quite have an angle on it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I assume we can, like, take aim. She's not moving.
Yeah.
We can, take our time with this shot.
Yep.
I'm going to aim for her head.
All right.
I'm going to aim straight in her chest. I radio over to Francis. Take an aim, count me down.
All right, let's do this.
All right, everyone aiming, give me a stealth check.
Well, since I don't have a better... am I aiming? 'Cause
No,
you
you're
said
not
I'm
aiming.
Yeah, I'm not. Okay.
I fumbled that. Why do I keep fumbling?
Worst stealth guy ever. I failed.
All right.
I have a stealth of 53. That shit should be good. Like,
So you make eye contact with Rebecca. She sees you from inside the house, and just on her face is rage personified. You have a beat on her, though.
I take the shot.
Oh, yeah, I take my shot, too.
Yes, but we're going to do something first.
Oh, boy!
Wizard!
Yep, a little bit of wizard action. All right, so, Faustus, you feel just your bones start to ache inside of your body. Maybe your blood starts to do something weird, and you take, 11 points of damage as just kind of you feel things snapping and going bad inside of you.
That leaves me with 2 HP left.
Yeah.
You best fire.
Oh, my God.
Can I fire through that pain?
Yeah, you can.
Can I fire as well?
You can, yeah. As long as you fire now.
I fail.
Okay, so I hit, and like I said, I was aiming for the head.
Yep. I'll say that's enough. Yeah, so let's see the damage roll just out of curiosity.
Fuck me. God damn it.
So it doesn't do a lot of damage, but the shot it's a bad hit. But it still just rips her very human head apart and just splatters it across the wall kind of thing. Amongst this kind of sea of people slowly coughing themselves to death. You're all looking at this. We're going to do with Faustus in a second, but so everyone looking at this whole scene, take a sand damage. This is truly some messed up shit.
You know what we're doing.
You said sand damage or sand check?
Sand damage. Sorry, sand check. Sorry. Sand check.
Yeah, Francis is like, we're doing righteous here. He succeeded.
97 failure for Florence.
I'm not in line of sight, so I don't have to do a sand roll, right?
You do not need to, yes.
Yeah.
Am I in too much pain to notice this?
No, we're going to do your sand check a little bit differently, because, something tried to rip your insides out.
Okay, so
How much sand damage?
1d6.
Is D6.
And if you succeed?
If you pass, just 1 point of sand damage.
Fuck.
I am passing that off to somebody.
All right, so let's see that. Well, let's see that POW check, and you do get a point of accustomed to violence as part of this.
Perfect.
All right, so you managed to drop that 6 down to a 4, so you don't freak the fuck out. But
Sweet.
yeah, it's some big damage still.
hey, so question: how am I doing my sanity check, seeing as I'm getting compounded with like paranormal shit?
Oh no, so yeah, I always want to play this out a little bit different. So you're feeling just like something releases on your insides, like you felt like almost a claw or a fist or a tentacle or just pressure on your guts, on your bones, on like the marrow of your body, just squeezing it, like something that releases. You let a gasp of breath. Give me a sand check at -10.
Oh.
All the while that this is happening, Faustus is just going to start screaming in agony, pleading to God, and he's just going to start listing and going down rows of every single god or goddess he knows in his
Sure.
log. Failure at 79%.
All right, so you're gonna take 1d10 on this, just
1d10?
because maybe something reached inside of you.
Rest in peace.
It's got plenty of sand still.
41.
7.
Ooh.
All right, so you're gonna offload any of that?
Yes, I'm going to offload it onto my church
All
body.
right, so let's roll that willpower. Sorry, let's roll 1d4 for the offload.
Floating 4.
Nice.
All right, so you managed to you
Nice.
offload 4 onto what bond are you offloading onto?
I only have one bond,
Yeah, you do.
and that's to my church body.
Yeah, so you're offloading all of this, the thing reaching into your body and just squeezing the intense violence you've witnessed. You do get to take a point of accustomed to violence. You're not fully accustomed to violence yet, but you do get to check that one once. But I do believe you just passed a breaking point, correct?
Hold up. So, question. Okay, I offload all 4 of that to my church body, correct?
Yep.
Yes. So that means I take 4 sand damage, which leaves me down into
You
37.
take 3 sand damage.
3 sand damage, which is going to bring me down to 38, which dips me below my breaking point of 40.
All right, cool. We will resolve that as part of your home scene. Nothing bad immediately happens, but yeah, no, this weighs on you. You felt this. This one will haunt you.
Feel it in your bones.
Did the body drop?
Yeah, eventually it did. It stood there for a little bit too long, but eventually it did fall over. Good question, though.
I'll crank another couple rounds into her.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah.
I know how wizards are.
Yeah. How long do you wait? I guess Samuel Bolton's outside just heaving. He's throwing up every once in a while. Like, he's probably not super long for this world, given his exposure to the gas. You gotta suit up and go in?
Yeah, we should.
All right. So what are you doing? You gotta go in, like, start burning bodies? Like, what's the chain of actions?
Florence asked for help securing Bolton.
All right. He doesn't require much help. He's pretty. If you had to guess, he's probably dying. He's not going to die as fast as everyone else did. Like, he's not long for this world.
Can Florence try to stop him from dying?
It's going to be real hard.
Definitely going to be real hard, because I have a 10 in first. I have a 10 in first aid.
This guy got a big, hefty lung full of incredibly toxic pesticide. This requires a hospital, I think, or at least like a more permanent medical facility than you necessarily have. You can try and stabilize them, but I'm not sure you really have the equipment to do so. Like, there's no antitoxins. You just breathe caustic, for lack of a better phrase.
Okay. Do you guys want to secure inside, and I'll deal with Bolton?
I think you might want to call for backup on this one. Cleanup crew, you know?
Yeah. Let's call it. Can we call it cleanup crew?
I mean, there's lots of cooking equipment you could use to burn stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we are the cleanup crew. That was the whole reason we used poison.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, we could just. I'm down with just going in there and just starting to set shit on fire at this point.
Yeah, grab me suspicious, occulty things.
So yeah, I'll suit up and I'll have Florence double check my suit before I go in.
I would imagine that we actually probably suited up in the woods.
Yeah,
before
that's what I was
Okay,
assuming.
okay.
I was going to hand wave that one.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because the way I'm picturing this is you would come racing out of the woods in like hazmat suits and gas masks, and Bolton was like on the ground, heaving his guts out, gasping for air, as kind of his friends around him have died, and just kind of there's been some shots, and you see 4 gas masked individuals come out of the woods, which would be terrifying.
Yeah, Florence has her shotgun and just walks straight up to him and shoves it in his face and says, "Where do you get the goats?"
From a arms supply store. Who the fuck are you people?
Anyone else connected to your shitty little club?
What do you mean by that? We have other members, but like
Other clubs like this.
no, we're pretty exclusive. Rebecca was real strict about us not like doing outreach and stuff. It's hard enough to cook for teens, she used to say, or something.
What's the password to your phone?
I looks at you like you can fuck right off. Who the hell are you? How did you find out about us? Like we're barely hurting people. 13 people die a year. That's nothing. Hundreds of people starve to death every day.
Kick him in the lungs.
Yeah, she just gives him a swift kick in the stomach.
Coughs at this. He's like, again, he's in incredible pain right now as his like lungs probably liquefy some.
You don't remember me? We met.
You're wearing a gas mask.
Yeah, she still says it. We met the other night at the bar.
Have his eyes go wide. Who the fuck are you?
She doesn't say anything. She just shoots him.
Fair enough.
Nice. Legend.
Put him out of his misery. Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll firearms for that. He's very easy to hit in a shotgun. Yeah, so you are now alone. Everyone else is dead. How are you cleaning up this site? You got to blow the place up. You got to burn it. You got to burn the bodies. I'll start scrubbing.
I'm gonna go and search Rebecca's body.
All right.
Make sure she's dead.
Yeah.
Look with my gun first.
No. So yeah, you kind of bust into the top room, and maybe you're expecting some type of ritual. What you get is just a lavishly decorated, immaculately prepared feasting table. It's got 13 seats, all with nice chairs, and in front of each table, and at each spot there is a meal. Like it used to be the first course of that meal. There's kind of other signs will have like a multiple servings throughout. It looks very good. It's high class restaurants, silk napkins, silverware kind of thing. Not a ritual in the way you'd expect it. Really, this was a meal. Like this was kind of a food club in their minds, maybe the way I'm thinking of it. But yeah, so you're searching Rebecca's body. There's not much to search. She's just wearing an evening gown. Like she's very dead. She's missing a head.
Yeah, we got a couple bullet holes in her.
Yeah.
So I guess we should look around for like any sort of occulty, references to occulty things.
Yeah, burn all the fucking human meat that's been chopped up and prepared.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely blow this place up, but we should at least clear out anything that's like super obviously.
Well, let's not blow it up. It'll just look like a terrorist attack if we just get rid of the
Yeah, so kind of looking around, there's not a lot of actually aggressively, like outwardly occulty stuff. There's the occasional kind of weird symbol on a napkin, or kind of some of the dressings around the space have some things, but this thing's leaning really hard into just fancy dinner party. Most occulty you find is Rebecca has kind of in the preparing quarters for this amongst all the monks. There is a cookbook, and the cookbook is, for the most part, recipes. Some of these recipes are really weird, though, and there are kind of some like philosophical musings, but you do find a more spelled out version of the Ageless Banquet. The way the spell works is once a year you have to eat a person, and when you eat that person, you basically freeze your aging in time for a year. You have to do that once a year. And you kind of find a variety of other notes that suggest that, yeah, they've been doing this for a very long time. The supernatural stuff they've gotten up to, Rebecca seems to be the one most responsible for that, but they're not really powerful wizards of any kind. She's gotten some juice from a couple things, but they've never really pierced the veil into anything especially powerful. It's just kind of a bunch of rich socialites that didn't want to die doing horrible things to ensure that end. Not a lot of crazy occulty stuff here.
Anything in the equipment outside, the cooking equipment outside?
Nah, it's really high-end cooking equipment. Again, like, this seems to be more about, like, so this is more of a ritual than a spell. Like, it was about procuring the humans and cooking the humans a certain way, and the spell that went along with that. Like, there's no, like, talisman powering this. This was just some good old-fashioned kind of ritual magic, which does not make it better, but it kind of lines up with the pagan druided stuff you found in research. Again, this is less about kind of channeling something and more about just kind of tapping into the powers of the universe, if you will.
So, yeah, I think we just need to clean up the basement. We'll take all of their phones, cut off a thumb for each of them. They're probably rich enough to have those good old fucking phones with biometrics. So we'll take all their phones, cut off a finger for each of their phones, transfer all the data on the phones to Florence's computer.
We can do that. We can do that later.
Yeah. Well, we need to do it before we, because you can track SIM cards in their last ping. So
you've got a little bit of time, but not infinite time, I guess, to keep that in mind. Some shots were fired. Like, you probably have until the next morning when, in theory, more guests show up.
Oh, yeah. We could actually probably set it up again, and I don't think we need to.
Nah, the other people were just like,
they didn't know what was
on.
going on.
This is the real, yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's done, it's done. Let's get out of here.
I think we should probably still cook this place, right? Mouse is fuck shut.
Yeah, that's not definitely. I don't want to leave this just laying around.
It would just look like a terrorist attack.
That's fine.
That's what we were going for.
Yeah, we just leave it.
No. Well, you want people? You want police to show up and identify some meat as human?
No, that's what I said. We come in, we clean up all of the evidence about human meat, and it just looks like some terrorists hit some rich old people.
So why did not blow it up then?
I mean, why blow it up?
Because it's the fastest and easiest way?
Yeah, but then there's actually people that are going to be responding right away because there's a plume of smoke in the air.
Well, we can just get out of here.
It's just unnecessary risk.
Oh, yeah, it says the person who called one of the people to warn them.
Sure, but that wasn't a risk that was going to get us arrested.
Hello, we have an escape vehicle. How far away are we from the nearest, fire department? Police station?
It would take some time.
Yeah, but you also have to take into account that a fire truck might be out and about in the area. That happens. They go out shopping in their equipment. I mean,
are you kidding me?
No,
really?
Yeah, actually, yes. When I used to,
no. I'm not thinking of making a joke. I'm asking you, are you serious? Are you worried about this? We'll blow this place up and get out of here. I mean, there was more risk blowing up that one lady's house back in Chicago, and we did that.
That was the only option.
So while this is going on, I'm just gonna start a fire.
Oh yeah.
Start throwing some flammable liquid around.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start throwing around some flammable liquid and get ready to fucking set everything on fire.
Sounds good.
I mean, this place is pretty. That gas is pretty explosive, right?
It will go up definitely. The extra flammable liquid will help. Yeah, the gas will do its thing.
I throw whoever's bodies are outside. I put them back inside.
Yeah, drag some security guards back in. Yeah, it's grisly work. This is definitely gonna take a toll on you. Maybe not in the sand department, but this is quite possibly the most human weirdness you've dealt with when it comes to Delta Green operations.
I just want to chime in to let y'all know that I have 2 HP, so I'm still out in the field crying.
Oh shit! That's
on the ground.
Yeah. You're not dead, but you're not doing good.
My sanity is fucked. My body is fucked. I'm just fucked. So I'm in a hazmat suit crying.
Florence, damn it, go take care of Faustus.
Yes, now we're working against the clock while we have someone nearly fucking dead. Don't start fires without consulting the group. Just talk it out. We had time. You idiot.
We gotta get out of here. He's gonna die if we don't do something. Get over there, damn it.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to operate on people.
Damn it, figure out how to drive him to the hospital.
Sure. What am I gonna tell them? He got hit by a fucking train?
Anything, it doesn't matter.
Oh, this was so stupid. I need someone to help me carry him.
Well, we're pretty much done here. I pretty much covered everything with gas, and I need to cover up so we can set out fires. So, let's go carry Faustus out of here.
Y'all know that the gas is highly flammable, right?
Yeah, I said that already.
Yeah, so hive mana is starting to go up around you as you kind of bust out of there. You're making your line back to Faustus, who is, again, as we've established, crying in a gas mask in the woods.
Really quick, I know when we were taking fingers and cell phones, the biometric stuff, did you also grab Boltons? Or do we also grab Boltons as well? Okay.
Also, another problem, we have to decontaminate. We can't be fucking driving around in fucking hazmat suits.
Well, I mean, I assume we bring them back to the place where we set up the the hoses and whatnot back at the mud station or whatever. The listening post, and we can figure it out there and pack everything up.
We can't get out of our car. We cannot drive back into a city with this gas on us. We have to do it out here.
The decontamination station set up at the listening post.
You could just leave the suits, too.
Yeah, but DNA. Burn them. Fuck it, burn them. Throw him in the
Hell
fire.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just quickly take off the suit, chuck that shit into the fire.
Yeah.
And then
I also throw the recipe book into the fire as well.
Sounds good.
I'm going to start running towards Faustus.
The moment you take off his gas mask, the crying gets louder, and it's just sad and pathetic.
I begin packing up the listening post and shoving it into the car.
Easy enough. Yeah, you got some time. Like, it's the fire's going up. You maybe hear some sirens off in the distance, but yeah, it's a small town with small town infrastructure, these types of things. They get there about a half hour, and they're much more fixated on the fire itself, and all the people that are dead inside of it to even bother searching the woods. You hear lots of screaming about, oh, what the hell happened, et cetera, but by the time they even start moving on to looking around the woods, you're long gone. Faustus, you're not bleeding in any certain way. Like, it's weird. Like, the damage is there. You don't feel anything broken. You feel like almost when the pressure released, it kind of released whatever was going on. You still feel hurt and with some time to heal, but you're not like bleeding internally as best intel. Like, you know that enough from your time in the SEALs. But yeah, you're not doing great. You'll definitely need some time to.
He's just a large bruised banana.
Yeah, basically.
Aww.
Oh my god.
On the way back, Florence will give Faustus some painkillers.
Sure.
Probably just gonna pass out.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely pass out. Like, you're in immense amounts of pain.
I mean, I dropped 11 hit points of damage. So, I'm gonna pass out probably.
Sounds like we should take him to a vet.
A vet's not going to be able to. His damage is all internal. He needs surgery.
Vets can do surgery, right?
They can. Well, some vets do, at least. Like, a hospital's not a bad idea, though, either.
I mean, I feel like if we take him to a vet, with the damage that he has, he's probably going to.
All right, we'll take him to a Catholic-run church or a Catholic-run hospital. They'll ask less questions.
I mean, plus also he's a man of God. I mean, sure they'll watch out for him.
I mean, if you want to get dark, you could spin some tale of like how you got hit by a car or something like that. That would, in theory, be consistent with the injuries.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just dump him at some hospital and say that hit and run or whatever.
We saw him get hit, and we brought him over here.
Yeah, certain amount of sense. Yeah, they try and get your names, but I'm assuming you kind of get out of there as fast as you can.
Yep.
Yeah,
I give him a fake name, whatever, it doesn't matter.
All right, so Faustus, you're in the hospital. Yep. Foxtrot, Florence, and Francis, you're going back to New York. You're going to try Pine and get out of there. What's the plan at this?
Oh yeah, we're calling Pine.
Yeah, not booking it yet, but we're gonna call Pine. Yeah.
Yeah. So she picks up agents. It's Friday evening. I'm assuming you have good news.
Yes. Dinner was served.
Oh my god.
Oh, Francis.
And it was well done.
You hear a sigh at this. Grave humor, gentlemen. Grave humor. I assume you'll be needing your tickets out of New York now?
Yes.
Check your phones. You kind of hear a ping as the emails come through your accommodations. I'd recommend leaving as soon as possible. I've notified Mr. Cohen of the close of the audit, if you will. He'll meet the rest of his staff. Good work. I'm not hearing Agent Faustus. Did he make it?
He took some serious damage. We've dropped him off at a hospital. I'll send you the information.
I will check in on that.
He'll probably be there for a while.
Understood. You all leaving New York, or what's up?
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna leave you New York. I'm probably gonna go to the green boxes and drop the stuff back off.
Yeah, makes sense.
Is there anything else we need to do?
I guess as long as Faustus is taken care of, I'll head out.
Yeah.
The moment we got out of the car, and Francis went to call Pine, Florence had already called a taxi.
Makes sense. Escape New York time. Yeah. That is the end of this operation, I suppose. It's now time for some aftermath.
Francis is going to do his favorite thing and check the news for what's going on up there.
Yeah, so Francis, you're checking the news. Talks of a freak terrorist up. They're being spun by the local news or kind of the people investigating as like an anti-wealth or anti-corporate, some kind of terrorist movement of some kind. You managed to pull that off pretty quick. They're amazed at the sophistication of it, though. Like, it'd be one thing to kind of show up and shoot up the place, but the fact they went as far as to like chemically gas the place. They're a little bit aghast at that. A lot of people being interviewed, they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this happened in upstate New York. Nothing like this happens here." And the damage to the Hyde Mansion and all that jazz. Couple staff people of Ageless Catering talking about how they'll miss Rebecca, and they didn't even know there was an event this weekend. Various notes about the kind of more prominent members, kind of the weirdest of which is for Iria and Laura Norris, who were the kind of goop equivalents, and there are lots of people having vigils for that, and how a lot of weird news about like their lights have gone out of the world and how much they will be missed. It's knowing what you know, it's you're like half laughing at how dumb some of these people seem to be and just how ridiculous the situation is. But it does seem like he got away with it more or less. There's some kind of conspiracy theories popping up about how some movement was done against that. But yeah, no, like it was reckless enough and kind of big enough that people are not trying to ask a lot of questions. It was the loss of life has been.
I have a kind of two questions. Do we get any sand back for completing an operation?
You do. I was going to handle that when we got to kind of the aftermath stuff.
Cool. And also, for attacks like this, the CDC usually gets brought in. Is Florence part of the team that comes back to?
I was going to get to that. Yes.
No way. Could you imagine being brought back to the operation you were just at? And be like, I mean, weird. I wonder what could have possibly happened here.
She knew that she was going to be coming back here when she suggested ricin. So
also, nothing about like food or anything like that mentioned at this.
No, the fire did a pretty good job. It's people are more fixated with the fact it was a chemical attack.
Gotcha. There's no like there was weird animal bones found in the basement. Blah blah blah.
If they did find something that was kind of swept under the rug of full attack like that, again, like it's people are much more concerned with the fire that happened that burned up a bunch of the building and the chemical attack. It does make some notes about how whatever chemical was used would be caustic and it dissolve a bunch of antique furniture and stuff that they were partially having to shoot it away.
Gotcha. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The CDC was indeed called in. I'm assuming Florence Volunteer kind of really mess up the scene some, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, less like mess up the scene, but I think that she thinks that it would probably look really suspicious if she didn't volunteer for something like this.
Sure. Yeah, no, and it's typical CDC work at that point. There is an asterisk, though, on this. So you do that, you're kind of there for a couple weeks, kind of proving that, yeah, it was indeed this pesticide that's been off the market for the better part of multiple decades. That was super dangerous, and we should probably track down whoever still has access to this stuff. And we're going to actually put a cool scene when you return home after.
Okay.
Explain to me Florence's house. Does she live in an apartment building? Is it a traditional house? Like, what's her living situation like?
So she lives in Georgia, Atlanta. I've never been to Georgia. So what is like typical like upper middle class housing like?
It's nice. It's like often brick and stuff like that. Like they have a bunch of old houses there. They have colonial stuff. It's nice. A house would totally make sense.
Yeah.
Don't forget the wraparound porch.
Yes, definitely a porch. Big porch.
Yeah, she's got a pretty like standard. It's not like she didn't look for anything like specific. It seems like when Florence is like house shopping, it's much more practical than aesthetic like pleasing. So when she'd walk through, she'd check for any like water damage or anything like that.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
But it's nice, clear that people of an upper middle class background live there. They have semi-expensive stuff. Car, probably only one actually, because Florence is also environmentally aware. So she doesn't. I don't know. She's probably got a Tesla. There you go.
Yeah. So what is her like dining room? I guess like when you walk in, do you walk directly kind of into the dining room area? Do you walk into kind of like the living room? What do you walk into when you walk into the main entrance?
I think that you walk in, and then off to the left, you can like walk, and there's like a bend that leads into the living room. And if you walk off to the right, there's a bend, or there's an area for like where you set up the food and whatnot table, and then further in, there's the kitchen.
Yeah. So let's put this out some. So you get home. You went from Delta Green operation to CDC investigation, if you will. You get home late from the plane. You come straight to the home, I'm assuming. You open up the door. What's the first thing she goes
to? she drops her keys in like a key bowl next to the door, hangs up her jacket, and goes into the kitchen to pour herself a glass of wine.
Okay. And from the kitchen, what can you see? Can you see the living room from there? Like what do you, if you're looking out kind of that space, what can you see?
I don't think you'd be able to see the living room from the kitchen. You can probably see the dining room area and maybe like a hall that leads back door.
Yeah, so the house is weirdly dark. Like Florence's girlfriend typically leaves a couple lights on, I'm guessing, just because she forgets and she's busy. House is dark, except for the living room. And, not living room, at the dining room. At the head of the table sits Agent Branch, a.k.a. Fiddlesticks, with a bottle of something and 2 glasses and kind of just sitting there waiting for you. Welcome home.
Good to see you.
Likewise. It's been a while. How was upstate New York? World travels.
Awful.
Yeah, I heard that. So, I'm assuming you're wondering why I'm here, and as much as I'd like this to be a social call, this is more of a charity.
I'm listening.
You recently came into a shocking amount of money, an improbable amount of money. One might say an unnatural.
Yeah, that was regrettable.
Indeed it was. But before we get to why I'm here, do you know what you did?
No. I think you know what we were doing. Century Club and all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not important, but, I talked to Bryce, and Bryce is still a fucking idiot, but do you know what when you made all that money?
No.
Kind of smiles at this, like knocks back her drink, or another one. So, a couple things. Bryce doesn't actually know what that obelisk is, and that's Bryce's job. The only reason that the organization puts up with that obelisk existing in the middle of New York is we don't know why, but Bryce is the only person we've ever come across that can't, and it drives that obelisk insane. It spends all its energy trying to break into that guy's mind. The guy is an idiot. He's one of the worst investors ever. But we kind of prop him up with some staff and keep him going, specifically to keep that thing neutralized. You can't move it. It grows back.
She kind of like chuckles when she hears that like it can't get into Bryce's head.
Yeah, so you made a pact with that thing, and you didn't realize you made a pact. You made a pact, and it'll come collect eventually if it hasn't already. But yeah, so that money, it's going to cause an investigation, and you don't have a good explanation as to why you thought to invest in that stock, and we sure as hell can't acknowledge the fact that your trading happened at fucking Midas. We can't risk having an investigation of IRS people storming into that place in that goddamn obelisk.
Yeah, no, of course not.
So here's what you're going to do. I got some friends, from my extracurricular activities who are going to help you move around that money, distribute the wealth some. We'll leave you with what you had before. We'll have a little interest for the risk you took on and the price you paid on this one, but we're going to take it. We're going to receive the next couple days, we're going to look at some real suspicious emails, and they are suspicious, and you're going to give them your bank code. They'll handle all of that. I'm overseeing all of this.
What's the money going to?
Funding the people that are, you're working your side of this thing, and I'm working my side of these things, and there are other people that need the money more than the program does, and they have needs that aren't as well. It's a risky job after all, and, to put this in terms that are annoying and charitable, I'll go buy some body armor for her.
Works for me.
Excellent. Well then, your girlfriend's gonna be late. There's a fire across town that came right when her shift was ending. That's why she's not here right now. I definitely didn't set it, but yeah, good seeing you, Florence. And kind of walks out of the room holding whatever the bottle of something was.
Good seeing you too. I imagine when it comes to collect whatever it wants, if it wants that money, better be long out of our friend's hands.
As Fiddlesticks is leaving, it doesn't want the money. It can make more money.
What does it want?
Depends on the person. Often it likes to reproduce.
The pact has been made. I think that I've paid the price already.
Kind of shrugs at this. Dangerous job. And she just kind of leaves at this point, kind of walks out into the night.
Yeah, Florence just nods when she says it's a dangerous job and pours herself. Actually, she pours herself the wine and then looks at the glass and sets it down and just picks up the wine bottle and takes a drink and walks into the living room and yeah.
Foxtrot.
If there's not cows involved in this, I'm going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, so you return home. It's another kind of Delta Green operation, gone Delta Green, if you will. Again, this is feeling very familiar to you. You're kind of, maybe in your brain, you're wondering how the hell the site doesn't know about Delta Green. This is obviously some overlap, especially with their operating on domestic soil. But yeah, no, your dreams are a tad haunted by cows. Nothing bad happens, just an abnormal number of cow dreams. What does Foxtrot think of cows?
I mean, he's kind of indifferent about it for the most part. He's not a farm person.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense.
His only bond is his dog that's a Rottweiler, and that's kind of it. So
yeah, I would say that, does he drink milk? Does he use milk and cereal or anything like that?
Not necessarily normal milk. He would probably do almond milk or something that he would put in his tea, but it wouldn't necessarily be Like he wouldn't just like drink a glass of milk kind of thing.
No, I'm not saying he does, but yeah, but he uses like traditional cow milk still in his tea, right?
No, he would use almond milk.
All right, yeah. So part of the season, like for the first time in maybe years, he feels compelled to buy it's like a quart of normal milk or something when he's putting it in whatever he's drinking with it. It tastes sour and wrong. It hates him.
All right, so I spit it out as soon as I realized it has such a really bad taste.
Yeah, dog drinks it just fine. Last but not least, Faustus, you are in the hospital post this mission. You have come to grips with how insignificant your religion is in some ways in the grander scheme of Delta Green. You've prayed to many gods in desperation. You felt something reach out and grab your internals. After many hours of kind of light surgery, they managed to kind of give you an okay bill of health. Nothing ruptured, but they are just amazed at kind of the pressure that was applied to it. I've kind of pried your internal organs. The story of, you got hit by a car in a hit and run does make a lot of sense to them. A lot of people congratulate, you didn't break anything. That's amazing. Like, people puncture lungs and spleens as part of that. But yeah, so part of your aftermath, you're trapped in the hospital, stuck again away from home. You're in the hospital. What's going through your head?
If I have to deal with another random priest from some sister cathedral or sister church coming in to check up on me or pray for me, or just any more of these goddamn letters from my church, I'm going to lose my mind. I just want to be left alone and recover, but I have to deal with all of this. I can't, I have a routine of saying nightly prayers, but it just seems super empty. It just seems super confusing. And it's like, I have to do it because this is what I've been doing for the past couple years, or for the past who knows how long at this point, since I got out of the military, since it's what gave me my sanity or what gave me comfort and whatnot after coming back into civilian lifestyle. And then suddenly I'm ripped apart from it and just angry.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna kind of play out the damage of the kind of you projected a bunch of damage onto your congregation. How are you feeling about that congregation? How do you view that? You're supposed to lead these people spiritually, and you've kind of been forced to realize that it's potentially all wrong. There's actual things out there, hypothetically, and it's not what you've been necessarily investing in. Do you resent your congregation? They took a pretty serious sand damage hit. What's the thought process?
It's like I feel pity for them, that they're these people who don't need my guidance or my leadership to be able to do these things themselves. But in order for them to do these things for themselves, they're going to dip further into just stuff that I am currently employed to eliminate. And so it's that tension of just wanting to help because that's who I am, but who I am is slowly changing, becoming just apathetic towards the church body because they're just people, becoming too focused or not negligent of the church body because the entire structure that Faustus has built his life around is now not even crumbling. It's past crumbled. It's just shattered and it's just on the ground in shards. And so it's like he feels now trapped within his job because he can't tell people the truth because that's just creating more vectors or anything else like that. Then he would become part of the problem. So he's just frustrated with no outlet and nowhere to blame.
Yeah.
But he just keeps getting cyclically angrier and angrier towards just the needy people that he leads. So now they are a chore to him.
Out of curiosity, what is that relationship at? I think it started off at 10 or something? What's it all the way down to?
It started off at 10, now it's at a 3.
Damn. Yeah, no, that bond is not long for this world. And that brings us to our last thing of our little operation here. Time for our home scenes. And I guess we'll already have Faustus going, so let's start with Faustus. What are you doing for your home scene? Again, to remind you, you can there's some sand doing this. What's the plan? What are you trying to do?
I think what's happened is that it's what time of day is it, or what is it
some time has passed. You're probably out of the hospital by now. You're successfully back in safety at this point.
So Damien is going to stand in front of his congregation, and he is going to take some time off from the church, but he's going to let the church down easy in the sense of he's going to kind of say some half-truths about kind of what he experienced, and that in essence, he wants to kind of rebuild his faith as it's been shaken, and hopefully he can come back as a stronger teacher from the church. In essence, he wants to get rid of that, not get rid of that, but like walk away from that attachment in like a healthy manner. All right. So good news. I am kind of back to where I was. I'm a little sore here and there and whatnot. Just the bad news. I'm going to be taking some time off, and I'm going to have a good friend or a vicar kind of take in my absence, whether or not this is going to be a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months. I need to kind of heal and rebuild physically as well as spiritually. There was a lot of things shaken more than just my insides and my head and whatnot, but hopefully I can come back. Maybe, I hope, or put my head kind of back on straight to be able to come before you as a leader or come before you again and whatnot.
I guess in service of that, so you're obviously not fulfilling responsibilities. You think you're going back to nature, you're trying to establish a new bond, you're going to therapy, or you're pursuing personal motivations, or are you involving yourself in special training, or are you staying on the case?
I think I want to reestablish a new bond.
Okay.
Reestablish a new bond.
Yep.
Because this was kind of like a try to go back. Yeah, just reestablish a new bond with that.
All right. So to establish a new bond, you roll a charisma check.
All right. 50-50, baby. Failure.
Yeah, no, it weighs on you hard this last operation, and to make matters worse, because you tried to establish a new bond, give me a 1d4.
Damn, I'm the worst priest. 1.
Yeah, so you're neglecting your kind of congregation some, so it decreases your bond score. Them goes down by 1. It's worsening. You're out there trying to find yourself some, and people get neglected when you do that. Makes a certain amount of sense. Francis, what is your home scene? Back to nature, as is your usual, doing the bond thing, going to therapy, responsibilities. What's up?
Francis is going to try and he's going to fulfill responsibilities with his son,
All right,
Kevin.
All right. So what are you doing with your son?
Well, he knows he's been he's been away on a lot of these misadventures. He's been spending a lot of time at work. He knows his son is getting older, getting ready to get off college, so he's going to really spend a lot of time, preparing, maybe driving to visit colleges around California. Just spend a lot of good quality time with him.
Bonding time, if you will.
Yeah, not trying to force anything onto him, but let him be him.
Let's do that sand test.
Damn it!
It doesn't go as well as you want it to, unfortunately. It doesn't worsen the relationship. You don't lose any sanity for this, but it's hard. Like you still can't connect with this kid all that well. And I will say, those kind of like as you're driving about trying to do the dad thing, he does mention that like he gets a lot of questions about you and why you're not around more and about your job and all that stuff. And like some people came by the house at one point kind of asking a bunch of questions about you. They kind of didn't say who they were or anything like that. But yeah, no, it's weird. Maybe it's paranoia, maybe it's Delta Green, maybe it's just people coming about asking you for work or something, but
oh no, when he tells me that, no matter what road we're on, I like slam on the brakes.
Kind of shocked by this. Dad, what the hell?
I look him straight in the eyes and be like, who are these people? Tell me everything.
I don't know. They were just people. They said they worked with you or something, or like knew about your job, and they were kind of. They said you worked with you at one point or something. At one point, I don't know, man.
What did they have badges, guns? Were they agents? Did they government? Did they look like feds? Were they criminals? What? Tell me.
They said they were for some type of think tank or something. I don't know, Dad. You're scaring me. They're just people. They asked about your marshal work and how much you travel and stuff like that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Listen, Kevin, I love you. I'm sorry, okay? I've always tried to do what's best, and I never thought my job would bleed this far into this life. If I don't want anything to happen to you.
Jesus, Dad, you don't need to spaz out like that. They just asked how your time in New York was, and I told them I didn't know anything about that.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Listen, we're gonna have to cancel the tour today. I got some stuff to take care of. I'm sorry. Listen, if you're picking a school to go to, I recommend out of state. You should. Oh God.
Okay.
And then after that, I start getting real incoherent. Maybe not like babbling, but like
yeah. Weirdo. Why can't you ever be normal? All right, Foxtrot.
All right.
What are you doing for your home scene?
What are my options here?
Fulfill responsibilities, back to nature, establish a new bond, go to therapy, personal motivation, special training, stay on the case, or improve a skill or stat.
I want to improve stat.
Okay. What are you attempting to improve?
Which one helps my HP again?
That is strength or constitution?
Constitution.
Constitution, yeah.
And that's the one I'll improve.
All right. So let's roll a con check.
All right. 89 out of 65.
You want to fail. That's a good thing, actually, in this case.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to fail.
So yeah, I failed.
All right, so the stat goes up by 1, to a maximum of 18, but I don't think you have anything more than that. You also decrease your bond by 1. Maybe you're working out too much. How does this manifest? Like, it's your dog. Like, do you spend too much time working out and running miles without your dog or something? Or
yeah, I got into the zone so much of trying to like improve it that like I didn't take my dog out on as many walks as I should have. So
yeah, I probably peed in the house once by accident. You got real mad at her or something like that.
Yeah. All right. So
Horrible dog owner.
I put my constitution up to by 1.
Yep, up by 1.
Okay.
All right. Last but not least, Lawrence. What is your home scene?
Oh, I really shouldn't, but I think I have a question first. With Florence's interaction with the obelisk and speaking with Fiddlesticks, does she gain any unnatural at all?
Not yet.
Yeah, then she's gonna study the unnatural.
All right, gonna study the unnatural, huh?
Yeah, in particular her baby obelisk.
All right, yeah, cool. That makes a lot of sense. So let's roll that 1d4 to see what you lose from that bond. All right, so you'll go up by 3, but you'll also go down by 3 in your bond. Which bond are you firing this off against?
The girlfriend.
All right, so yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense. So you're tiny little, you're studying the tiny obelisk you coughed up, right?
Yeah.
I don't think to do this initially, but it's weird. The more time you seem to spend with it, like it's growing slowly. Like it's almost like a child or something. Like if you feel connected to it in a very strange way, like it's almost part of you or it was part of you. And I'm not going to say your girlfriend gets jealous, but she definitely like at one point like yells at you that the stupid rock is more important to you than she is, kind of thing. Gets mad at that. And you're not sure how, but you're pretty sure the rock liked that. Like, you have lots of dreams about the obelisk. It's gigantic, like the size of a skyscraper or something like that. You occasionally dream about the one in New York that started all this, and it whispers sweet nothings to you about how well you're doing and how this thing will grow great.
Oh, no. That's not comforting at all. I think that Florence is put off enough by it that, and I know this isn't, like, a mechanical thing going to happen, but after, like, having one of those weird dreams, she takes her girlfriend out for dinner and offhandedly mentions that, I know I don't really do this kind of stuff well, but, I mean, we basically do everything together anyways, renting a house and our finances and everything. Probably be better for taxes if we just got married.
And while you're thinking about all this, while you're kind of having this conversation, trying to soothe her over, the rock's just kind of on your mind. Like, it's just kind of there, and you're like, yeah, you in theory love this woman and stuff like that, and she's great, she's always been there by you, but I don't know, maybe you'd rather be spending time with the rock.
Yeah, I think that she, like, pushes the thought to the side, because really, in the end, Florence isn't asking this because she actually wants to get married. She's asking
I know.
So that
this is purely serving a cause. I understand, and I know this as the handler, but more importantly, the rock this.
No. Okay, cool.
And with that, we bring our second operation to an